Hi, this is Brendan with MORryde, here today to talk to you about the latest addition to our Step Above product line, the Flip Tread Step. Just like with the original Step Above, the Flip Tread has legs that come all the way to the ground to provide that ground stability and eliminate all that flex and bounce that's typical on traditional RV steps. However, with this iteration, the treads fold flat for storage similar to a step ladder and can make it a better option in tight doorways such as bathroom entrances like this one, in the garages of toy haulers, or in entryways where there's an obstruction inside the doorway, such as a step leading up to the bedroom. A nice added benefit of the Flip Tread action is the steps are also easier to clean before storage. Let's talk about how to qualify and install one. Before ordering your step, it's important to review our Flip Tread qualification guide. This guide will help to ensure that the step is going to be compatible with your RV, as well as to verify which model is going to be the best fit for your application. The full guide can be found on our website, but I'm going to go over some of the more important measurements with you now. The first measurement that we need is going to be the height of the threshold that sits underneath the door. Before taking this measurement though, we're going to want to remove this transition strip, this beveled metal piece that sits right inside the doorway. That way we can get a more accurate measurement. Now we've already taken the screws out of this one, so we'll just pop this off. And when we measure the height, we're going to go from the floor to the top of the threshold. And ideally, we want this to be between 5/8 and 3/4 of an inch. The second measurement we need is checking the clearance underneath the door to the top of the threshold. The best way to do this is to partially close the door. We'll start with the screen door first and see how much clearance we have. Ideally, we want 3/8 of an inch. The exterior door is a little bit more difficult to get a measurement of, and you can really only do that from the front. And it looks like we have plenty of clearance there as well. Typically, if there is a compatibility issue or a clearance issue, it's usually with the screen door. That sits lower than what the exterior doors usually do. And if you don't have that 3/8 of an inch clearance, it doesn't mean that you can't install the steps. It just means that there's some modifications that may have to be made to the door. More often than not, it's really easy to do. If you don't have a lot of clearance at the bottom, chances are you have more clearance at the top of the door. So you can borrow that clearance by taking your screen door off the hinges. There's usually 3 hinges with 2 screws apiece. You'll take those screws out there, move the door up, and then reset those. That typically gets you the clearance that you need. The third measurement that we need is checking the width of the door opening. Now this is probably the measurement that gets confused the most often, because a lot of times folks will accidentally measure the door itself, or they'll measure the frame to frame. What we're interested in is actually going to be the narrowest part of the door opening. And this is the part that the steps actually fold between. So we're going to measure the inside flange to inside flange. We're measuring at 24 inches between the flanges, which is good because the Flip Tread Step is compatible with door openings 24 up to 28 inches between those flanges. The fourth measurement that we need to take is going to measure the height from the top of the threshold down to the ground. And this measurement is going to tell us whether you need a 3 or a 4 step for your application. You want to take this measurement on as level of the surface as you can to make sure that it's accurate. We're at just above 31 inches on this unit, which is going to qualify for a 3 step. Anything below 36 inches is going to be a 3 step. We're going to recommend a 4 step for anything above 36 inches. So if you have an obstruction inside your doorway, like an interior step, and you want to know if the Flip Tread is going to be compatible, what you can do is from the edge of your flange, measure over 4.5 inches, and then from that point, measure 5.5 inches deep. And as long as that clears the obstruction, the Flip Tread can be offset and work for your application. So now that we've taken our measurements and we've ensured that this unit is compatible and verified which model is going to be the best fit, let's get into the installation. The first step before installing is to set the stop brackets on the step. I mentioned earlier that the step is designed to work on a door width of 24 inches up to 28 inches. And so we provide 2 different stop bracket options depending on what that door width is. You have one piece that's a nice long bar that's going to be used for the wider door applications, or you have 2 separate shorter pieces that are used on the narrow doors. This one here is a narrow door, so we're going to take the long bar off and then install the 2 shorter ones. Now you'll notice one of the stop brackets has a latch, the other does not. You'll want the latch to be on the left side. Now on this side, I've got it installed on the right, but once the step is installed, it's actually gonna be flipped upside down. And so it'll be on the correct side once it's installed. Our next step is just taking the step and setting it right inside the doorway against the threshold. And with that resting on the threshold, we're gonna fold the steps out and then adjust the legs down so that the legs or the steps are level. Now there's no offset that's required on this unit, so we're just gonna center this right inside the doorway. And then using the supplied hardware pack, we're gonna install a screw in each corner into the floor. With those first two screws anchoring the corners, we're gonna flip the treads over and then lift the steps into the unit. Now we'll also need to adjust these brackets so that they catch that door frame. We're adjusted well on the left side, but we need to adjust out a little bit here on the right side. So we'll loosen this up and then we'll pull it over, and we don't want it quite touching the wall, otherwise it can rub as you're lifting and lowering the steps. So we'll leave about 1/8 of an inch gap. And our last step is just installing the remaining 6 screws in the available holes in the hinge plate. With those screws installed, the flip tread is now fully ready to use. To deploy, all you need to do is pull the latch here and then hold the steps as you walk them down. The flip tread step is just one more MORryde product designed to help you enjoy your RV and the RV lifestyle even more.